The moment the alien ships launched their first strike, chaos erupted on Earth. In every major city, a deafening sound filled the air as the massive ships unleashed their devastating weaponry. Explosions rang out across the globe, shattering buildings, knocking out power grids, and plunging entire cities into darkness. The sky was filled with streaks of energy beams that tore through the atmosphere, lighting up the night with eerie blue and green lights. The world seemed to fall into panic, and the streets filled with the screams of terrified civilians. But humanity's reaction was not what the aliens expected. Instead of bowing down to their superior power or cowering in fear, the people of Earth took action. Hidden beneath the surface of the Earth's peaceful existence, humanity had been preparing for a time just like this. For 1,000 years, they had been at peace, but that didn't mean they had become complacent. Over the years, Earth's governments and scientists had been working on advanced defense technologies in secret, carefully crafting countermeasures to defend their planet in case something like this ever happened. As the first wave of alien attacks hit, the Earth's military forces sprang into action. But this wasn't just a typical military response. It was something far more calculated. A signal was sent across the globe, and within moments, every nation was working in sync. Earth's scientists and engineers had developed an energy shield, one unlike anything the aliens had encountered. It was powered by the very same technology the humans had been using to maintain peace for the last millennium. The shield wasn't just a defensive measure. It was a weapon in itself, designed to harness energy and redirect it back at the attackers. The aliens, expecting to find an unprepared and vulnerable humanity, were instead met with the unexpected. The first wave of attacks was intercepted by these powerful shields, creating a barrier that deflected the aliens' energy blasts, rendering them useless. For a moment, there was confusion on the alien ships. Their commanders couldn't believe what they were seeing. The humans had done the impossible. They had managed to create a defense that could stop their advanced weaponry. The alien commander, a battle-hardened leader who had never faced resistance like this, immediately ordered a retreat to regroup. They had underestimated humanity's resilience, and now they needed to reassess their strategy. The humans, however, were not done yet. As the aliens began to retreat, Earth's military unleashed their own surprise. Humans had developed a fleet of advanced ships, faster and more agile than the alien forces had anticipated. With the shields holding strong, Earth's fleet launched a counteroffensive. For the first time in the war, the humans weren't just defending, they were attacking. The alien forces had expected an easy victory, but instead, they found themselves in a battle they were not prepared for. The tension in the skies was palpable as the human ships swarmed the alien vessels. Laser beams shot across the dark sky as both sides fought for dominance. It wasn't just about power, it was about strategy, and the humans had been preparing for this moment for centuries. Each ship carried powerful weapons, and as they engaged the alien fleet, the humans demonstrated the skillful combination of offense and defense. The aliens, who had once ruled the galaxy with unchallenged might, were now faced with an enemy who was not only capable of defending their planet, but also had the ability to strike back with devastating force. On the ground, Earth's cities were still reeling from the initial shock, but the response from humanity's leaders was immediate. Emergency protocols were activated, and civilians were ushered into safe zones. Meanwhile, military commanders worked tirelessly to direct their forces, coordinating with the global defense systems. It was clear that this was only the beginning of a long and brutal conflict, but the humans were not willing to surrender. They fought with everything they had, and the alien invaders began to realize that Earth was not the easy target they had once believed. As the battle continued, the aliens made another mistake. They underestimated human ingenuity. The humans' defense systems evolved rapidly. What started as simple energy shields quickly developed into powerful weapons capable of disabling the alien ships. The energy pulses shot out from Earth's ground stations, targeting the alien fleet with pinpoint accuracy. In space, the humans' fleet had begun to push the alien ships back, forcing them to retreat further into the outer reaches of the solar system. With each passing moment, the tides of war began to turn. The humans had not only survived the initial strike, but they were now driving the invaders back. The once mighty alien fleet, which had seemed invincible just hours ago, was now on the defensive. Despite their best efforts, the alien forces were losing their advantage. The commander of the alien fleet, now frustrated and increasingly uncertain, ordered another full-scale assault. But even as the aliens charged forward, they couldn't ignore the strange feeling creeping into their minds. Doubt. The humans, who had once seemed so fragile and vulnerable, were now proving to be more than a match for their advanced technology. As the battle raged on, the humans felt a surge of determination. They had always been underestimating themselves in the face of greater powers, but now they saw that they could not only defend their world, they could take it back. The humans had the last laugh, not by retreating, but by standing tall and showing the aliens the true strength of humanity. The battle was far from over, but as the first wave of aliens retreated, the humans knew they had won the first victory of many. They had proven that they were not to be underestimated. And as the aliens disappeared into the distance, the humans looked up at the sky, knowing this was just the beginning of their fight for survival. The war for Earth had only just begun. The war was far from over, but the humans had made a powerful statement with their unexpected defense. The first strike had been met with resilience, and now the aliens were beginning to regroup and reassess. However, the humans weren't about to wait for the aliens to strike again. They knew they had only moments before the enemy would attempt another full-scale attack. It was time to prepare for what was coming next. Earth's global defense network was activated to its maximum capacity. Across the planet, humans worked tirelessly, reinforcing the shields that had already proven effective, while also working on new technologies. The aliens' first assault had revealed crucial information, and now humanity's scientists and military leaders were determined to make their counterstrike even more formidable. Research and development labs were buzzing with activity as engineers and strategists scrambled to turn the tide of the war in their favor. Meanwhile, the alien fleet was not as unified as it once had seemed. The commander of the alien force, Lord Raxar, had always been confident that the invasion of Earth would be quick and easy. However, after the humans' unexpected defense, doubt began to creep into his mind. The sheer power of humanity's shield technology had stunned him, and now he wasn't sure how to proceed. The alien forces were regrouping, and their morale was beginning to falter. The invaders had assumed that their superior firepower would intimidate Earth's population into surrender, but they now realized that Earth's people were anything but submissive. Raxar knew that the next step would have to be decisive. If he didn't act quickly, the humans could gather more strength and render his fleet ineffective. But he also knew that the humans were now aware of the alien fleet's tactics, which meant that any new attack would have to be much more strategic than the first. Raxar sent out an order to his fleet. They would begin a new wave of attacks. But this time, they would target not only Earth's military assets, but also its critical infrastructure. Back on Earth, human commanders were already anticipating the next alien move. The shields had held up under the first wave, but the humans knew that they couldn't rely on them forever. The alien forces were formidable, and even though they had been pushed back once, their technology was still far beyond what the humans had access to. The key to winning this war would not just be in defense, but in the ability to strike back, and strike hard. In the underground war rooms, military leaders from every nation gathered. The stakes were higher than they had ever been before. The next wave of alien attacks would test everything humanity had worked for. The scientists and engineers worked in tandem with the generals and strategists to come up with a plan. They knew they had to use their superior knowledge of Earth's terrain to their advantage, something the aliens were still unfamiliar with. Meanwhile, the people of Earth were not sitting idle. Across the planet, Every nation's civilians were mobilizing. Military service was now a matter of survival, and the call to arms had been heard across every continent. It didn't matter if you were a scientist, a teacher, or an engineer. Every able-bodied person was training to fight. The unity humanity had shown in the face of the invasion was nothing short of remarkable. What had once been a world divided by borders and politics was now a unified force standing against a common enemy. This was humanity at its strongest. However, the alien fleet wasn't prepared to simply retreat. Lord Raxar knew that his empire's reputation was on the line. The alien forces were used to being feared, to having their will obeyed by every planet they encountered. The humans, however, had proven to be more than a mere inconvenience. They had stood firm, and now the aliens had to confront the fact that this war might not be as easy as they had anticipated. The stakes were high on both sides. As Raxar's fleet regrouped, the humans made their move. In secret locations, new weapons were being assembled, and the Earth's space fleet was being upgraded. They had learned from the previous battle, and now they were ready to take the fight to the aliens in a way that the invaders could never have predicted. The shield technology was enhanced, now capable of not only deflecting energy blasts, but also absorbing them and redirecting them at the attackers. It was a powerful countermeasure, and it was humanity's trump card. The stage was set for the next phase of the conflict. Raxar's forces prepared for a large-scale assault, targeting major cities and military bases. He believed that if he could cripple Earth's infrastructure, the humans would be forced to surrender. But the humans weren't about to let that happen. They had learned that they could survive the first wave, and now they knew they had the power to turn the tide of battle in their favor. As the alien fleet descended toward Earth once again, humanity stood ready. The atmosphere was tense as the defense systems powered up, and the human fleet took position. The countdown had begun. There was no going back now. This was the moment that would determine the future of the war, and the fate of both Earth and the alien invaders. Would the humans continue to fight back and prove their strength, or would the aliens finally break them? The answer would come soon enough. The second wave of attacks began as the alien fleet unleashed its full power, but the humans were ready. The shields flared as they absorbed the first blast, redirecting the energy back at the alien ships. The aliens were taken by surprise again as their own attacks turned against them, causing chaos within their ranks. Humanity's counterattack had begun. The battle for Earth was far from over, but now it was clear. The aliens had awakened a force they had never anticipated. The fight for survival had just become humanity's greatest strength. The alien fleet had made their move, and the humans had responded with a surprising and powerful counterattack. But despite the initial success, the battle for Earth was far from over. As the first wave of the alien assault began to falter under the strength of humanity's defenses, Lord Raxar was already preparing his next move. His pride had been wounded, and he knew that if he didn't strike decisively, the humans would continue to resist. He was not one to back down easily, and he would not allow Earth to become a symbol of alien failure. Raxar's forces were vast, but they were now at a crossroads. The alien commander knew that if he didn't act quickly, Earth's new technologies would give the humans an edge that would be impossible to overcome. Humanity's shields were proving more durable than anticipated, and their space fleet was showing signs of ingenuity that Raxar had underestimated. However, Raxar was not without options. He decided to escalate the situation, planning a more aggressive and unconventional strike. The aliens would attack Earth's satellites, which had been crucial in relaying communications and monitoring planetary defenses. Taking down the human space network would throw the planet into disarray and give the invaders an advantage. While the aliens prepared their next wave, the humans were busy too. Earth's military leaders were well aware that the next few hours could determine the course of the war. The newly developed countermeasures were still being tested, and the stakes were higher than ever. The global military had never been so united. Generals and commanders from every nation worked together, sharing intelligence, strategies, and resources. This was no longer a battle for just one country or continent. This was a fight for humanity as a whole. At a secret underground base, scientists and engineers were working tirelessly to improve the energy shields and weapons systems. The previous battle had shown that the alien ships could take a beating, but they could also be overwhelmed with enough power. The challenge now was to amplify the technology that had turned the tide in the first wave. The shield systems were upgraded, and new weapons were designed to deal with the alien threats more effectively. However, not all humans were focused on war preparations. The global population, having witnessed the power of their defense systems, were filled with hope and determination. The initial shock had worn off, and now people were taking to the streets in massive rallies. Citizens from every corner of the globe were coming together to support the military efforts, contributing however they could, whether through resources, knowledge, or moral support. Humanity's resilience was becoming a force to be reckoned with. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for their right to exist on their own terms. Back in space, the alien fleet began to make its move. Raxar had ordered the destruction of Earth's satellite network, and the first wave of alien ships began to make their approach. The humans had predicted this tactic, though, and had already set their defenses in place. Earth's military satellites were now heavily fortified, and a new system of anti-satellite weapons had been deployed. When the alien fleet attempted to disable the communication hubs in orbit, they were met with an unexpected counterattack. Explosions lit up the night sky as the humans fought back with everything they had. The aliens' initial strike was blocked, but they quickly adapted. They used a combination of powerful energy blasts and agile, fast-moving ships to overwhelm Earth's outer defenses. One by one, the human satellites fell. The battle in space was fierce, with both sides suffering losses. But despite the damage to their orbital systems, the humans held their ground. The alien fleet had miscalculated again. They thought they could cripple Earth's infrastructure by taking out the satellites, but they didn't anticipate the humans' sheer will to survive. Meanwhile, on the ground, the atmosphere was tense. Cities around the world had been placed on high alert, and governments scrambled to make their final preparations for a full-scale invasion. While Earth's outer defenses were being tested in space, the real battle would soon take place on the ground. If the aliens could break through the Earth's outer shield, they would have to face a planet united in its determination to protect itself. The humans were ready for them. But for every defense the humans put up, the alien fleet adapted. Each battle seemed to be a cat-and-mouse game, with both sides testing their strength and weaknesses. The aliens were learning, but so were the humans. Raxar was beginning to feel the pressure. His forces were strong, but the human resistance was proving more resilient than he had ever imagined. The battle for Earth had become something personal. He wasn't just fighting to conquer a new planet. He was fighting to prove that his empire could not be challenged. But with every failed attack, his confidence began to falter. In the midst of this chaos, a new development emerged. A group of humans, including military leaders and civilian engineers, had developed a daring new strategy. Instead of simply defending against the aliens, they planned to take the war to them. They would use the alien weaknesses revealed in the previous battles to launch a surprise attack. The hope was that by taking the fight directly to the alien fleet, they could force Raxar's forces into retreat before they could regroup for a final assault on Earth. It was a risky plan, but it was humanity's best shot at taking control of the war. As the battle in space continued, Earth's ground forces prepared for their own confrontation. The aliens might have underestimated humanity at first, but it was becoming clear that the tides were turning. Humanity had not only survived the initial waves of alien attacks, they had found ways to strike back. And now, they were determined to finish what they had started. With the alien fleet closing in on Earth's atmosphere, both sides knew the next battle would decide the future of the war. Would the aliens finally break through the human defenses, or would humanity's determination prove stronger than the alien invaders' might? The fate of the planet rested on the outcome of the next move. The second phase of the war was about to unfold, and Earth's defense was ready. As the war escalated, both sides were feeling the pressure. Earth had shown resilience in the first few skirmishes, but the alien forces were not backing down. In space, the battle raged on, and on the surface of Earth, nations were in a race against time to prepare for the worst. The aliens, though powerful, were growing frustrated with the humans' unyielding determination. But Commander Raxar had one final card to play, something that could tip the balance of power. It was a desperate plan, but one that had worked in past conquests. The deployment of a massive weapon capable of crippling entire continents. Raxar's weapon, known as the Singularity Bomb, was an ancient creation from the depths of his people's empire. It was a weapon that had once decimated entire civilizations in the galaxy. The bomb, capable of creating a small artificial black hole, could wipe out entire regions of a planet in mere moments. The alien commander knew this was his best chance to break the humans' defenses once and for all. As the Singularity Bomb was readied, the tension on Earth grew thicker. Governments had already begun evacuating civilians to underground shelters, fearing the worst. Military leaders had established their final lines of defense, knowing that if the aliens succeeded in deploying the weapon, humanity's chances of survival would be slim. The people of Earth, however, had not given up hope. Even as the skies darkened with the approach of the alien fleet, there was a sense of determination that swept across the world. The hope that humanity could still turn the tide of war was palpable. Back in space, the alien fleet had come within striking distance. The humans had already launched their own counteroffensive, pushing the alien ships back with their newfound technology. But even as Earth's military forces continued to hold the line, Raxar's ships were advancing, their targets set on the heart of Earth's strongest defenses. Humanity's newly developed energy shields were putting up a fight, but even they had their limits. The alien fleet knew that it would only be a matter of time before the humans were forced to surrender. On Earth, there was a growing sense of urgency as humanity's leaders scrambled to come up with a plan to stop Raxar's weapon. A team of scientists and engineers had gathered in secret bunkers beneath the cities, working around the clock to find a solution. Their mission was clear: disable the Singularity Bomb before it could be activated. The only problem was that no one knew where it was hidden. Raxar, with his military genius, had ensured that the weapon's location remained a closely guarded secret. In a high-level meeting, military commanders discussed the final course of action. If they could find the bomb and destroy it, the alien forces would lose their most powerful weapon. But how could they launch a strike against a target they couldn't even see? Time was running out, and the fear of losing everything was becoming a constant presence. Then, a breakthrough came. A small group of scientists had uncovered a vital piece of information hidden in the data collected from Earth's defense systems. It turned out that the Singularity Bomb, despite its immense power, relied on specific energy signatures to function. The humans had intercepted part of the signal and were able to trace it back to its source. It was hidden within a massive alien fortress on the moon. This revelation sparked a new plan. A small but elite strike force was assembled, made up of humanity's best soldiers, scientists, and engineers. They were tasked with infiltrating the alien fortress, retrieving the bomb, and destroying it before it could be activated. It was a mission that could very well be humanity's last, but there was no other choice. Earth's survival depended on it. The team, led by General Harrison and Dr. Elara Sykes, an expert in alien technologies, prepared for the mission. They were the best humanity had to offer, and they knew the stakes. The ship they were to use, a prototype developed specifically for this mission, was equipped with advanced cloaking technology to avoid detection by the alien forces. The team would have to land on the moon, infiltrate the fortress, find the bomb, and destroy it before the alien fleet could launch it. As the team departed from Earth's atmosphere, there was a sense of quiet resolve among them. They had no illusions about the difficulty of their mission, but they also knew that they had no other option. If they failed, Earth's fate would be sealed. The Singularity Bomb was humanity's greatest threat, and they had to stop it before it was too late. The journey to the moon was tense. Every minute that passed brought them closer to the alien stronghold, and every second counted. As they approached the fortress, they could see the alien ships circling above, guarding the perimeter. The humans had to be quick, or their stealth would be compromised. The team's nerves were on edge, but they were determined to succeed. Failure was not an option. They landed undetected, and from there, they began their covert operation. The team moved swiftly through the alien facility, taking care to avoid patrols and security systems. It was clear that the aliens were aware that Earth was preparing to strike back, and the fortress was heavily guarded. But the humans had an advantage. They knew how to use alien technology against its creators. As they approached the core of the fortress, the tension was at its peak. Every sound, every movement felt amplified in the silence of the facility. They had to disable the security systems before they could reach the bomb. One by one, the team worked together, disabling alarms and bypassing defenses. Every step brought them closer to their goal, but the closer they got, the more dangerous the mission became. Finally, they'd reached the vault where the singularity bomb was stored. It was heavily guarded by alien forces, but the team was ready. With precision and teamwork, they took out the guards and breached the vault. The bomb was there, nestled in the center of a massive chamber, ready to unleash its devastating power. The team worked quickly to disable the device, but time was running out. As they began to dismantle the bomb's core, an alarm sounded. The alien forces had detected their presence. They had only moments before the entire fortress would be overrun. In a last-ditch effort, General Harrison and Dr. Sykes worked in tandem to destroy the bomb, while the rest of the team held off the advancing alien troops. Every second felt like an eternity. Finally, with one last push, they succeeded. The singularity bomb was destroyed, and the alien fleet's greatest weapon was no more. But the victory came at a cost. The team had lost several of its members in the process. As the team made their escape and returned to Earth, they knew that the battle was far from over. The aliens were not going to give up, and there would be more battles ahead. But for now, Earth had won a major victory, and as they looked toward the horizon, they knew that the fight for humanity's future had only just begun. As the dust settled from the destruction of the singularity bomb, humanity was left in a state of mixed emotions. The team that had ventured to the moon, defying all odds to prevent the annihilation of Earth, had returned home as heroes. However, the toll of their success weighed heavily on their hearts. Their victory was a hard-earned one, but it came with a heavy price. The loss of brave comrades, soldiers who had given everything to protect their planet. The survivors carried with them the memory of those who fell in the line of duty, their sacrifices etched into the history of this war. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted as the news of the bomb's destruction spread across the globe. People took to the streets in joyous unity, celebrating the resilience of humankind in the face of overwhelming odds. However, amid the jubilation, there was a lingering sense of caution. Everyone knew that this was just a temporary victory. The war was far from over, and the alien forces would not be easily deterred. The destruction of the singularity bomb had been a major blow to their plans, but it did not mean the end of the war. As Earth's leaders prepared for the next phase, they realized that this conflict was no longer just a battle for survival. It was a battle for the very future of the galaxy. The alien forces, despite their setback, were still formidable. Commander Raxar, the alien leader who had orchestrated the attack on Earth, was not one to accept defeat. He would surely retaliate, and he would be more dangerous than ever. His next move was anyone's guess, but humanity was ready. This victory had given them the confidence they needed to fight back and push forward. In the command centers scattered across Earth, military leaders and strategists worked tirelessly to devise a new defense strategy. They understood that the aliens had already adapted to human tactics, and Earth's military would need to stay one step ahead. The next few months were spent strengthening Earth's defenses, reinforcing military alliances, and continuing the development of new technologies to counter the alien threat. The humans knew they had to be prepared for whatever the aliens would throw at them next. Meanwhile, General Harrison and Dr. Sykes, along with the surviving members of the elite strike team, became symbols of hope and resilience for humanity. Their mission had shown that even in the face of the most advanced alien technology, humans could outwit and overcome their foes. The team had demonstrated that while the aliens may have superior firepower, the human spirit, determination, and ability to adapt could be the deciding factors in this war. Despite the victory, the scars of battle remained. Earth was a changed world, no longer the peaceful place it once was. The constant threat of the alien invasion loomed over every moment, casting a shadow over even the smallest joys of life. Governments had been forced to rethink their priorities, and the global economy had shifted to focus on the war effort. It was a new reality, one that would take time to adjust to. But even amidst this uncertainty, something incredible was happening. People from all corners of the world began to come together in ways never seen before. The war, though devastating, had sparked a newfound sense of unity among the people of Earth. Borders between nations seemed to vanish as global cooperation became the norm. This collective drive to protect their home had galvanized humanity like never before. Even though the war was far from over, humanity had found a renewed strength in the face of adversity. Meanwhile, Commander Raxart was not idle. His defeat at the hands of the humans had only fueled his determination. The loss of the Singularity Bomb was a blow to his ego, but Raxar knew that victory was still within his grasp. Earth had been resilient, but the alien forces were relentless. The war was far from finished, and the coming battles would be fiercer than ever. The alien fleet was already regrouping, and the next phase of the war would require even more cunning and strength. The galaxy held its breath as the conflict continued to unfold. The humans, having gained a taste of victory, were ready to push forward. But they knew that the true test was still ahead. As humanity fortified their defenses, the alien forces were preparing their next devastating blow. The stage was set for a showdown that would determine the fate of Earth and perhaps the entire galaxy. For the people of Earth, the war had become more than just a fight for survival. It had become a fight for the future of their civilization. And as they looked toward the stars, they knew that the path ahead would be filled with unimaginable challenges. But one thing was certain: humanity was no longer the underdog. They had proven their strength, and now they would fight with everything they had. The war was far from over, but humanity had found its resolve, and they would not go down without a fight.